Hello and welcome to Co-ople mode. I'm Rose.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm in the seat of power today.
Take the lead. I get to sit back and relax.
We got another bonus episode. I thought of a game that I have thoroughly played in the past that I'm pretty sure you, Matt, have never ever played before.
We're gonna find out.
I'm super stoked. I really hope you haven't because I don't think you have.
Okay.
And I personally played the piss out of this game. Not that it's super long, but like when I went completionist mode on something, this is one of those games.
Oh, okay.
So I was super excited that you are able to play this now. Do you have an idea of what it might be?
Okay, can you give me a hint? What is it for?
No, that'll tell you everything.
That's so unfair.
You don't tell me what console I'm playing
You
on.
never ask. And usually it's on multiple consoles nowadays.
Yeah, because you're a game connoisseur.
Man, you saying I think you haven't played this game really makes me not have any idea what it is. It makes me think it might be for PC because you've played a few, but that's my only idea.
It's you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Pilotwings 64.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch just released this, and I'm super stoked because back in the day, I had this on the N64, and I loved this game. And I'm super stoked that they put it on the Switch, available for people to play. So, this game was released in 1996.
Sounds about right.
Yep. Guess what it has on Metacritic? This surprised me. I have a tendency to... I really didn't expect it to have this good a score. It's got an 80 out of 100. Which I know isn't fabulous.
I was going to say high 70s.
But it's way better than I thought it was going to be.
I remember playing the Pilotwings for the Super Nintendo.
I thought you might.
And I think... I never had Pilotwings growing up. I think I maybe tried it one time at your house, but I never really got into it.
So I didn't know that this was a successor to Pilotwings on the SNES.
Yeah, yep.
And when I read that, I like YouTubed it really quick just to get a picture of it. It's cool. It's it's very Super Nintendo-esque, right?
They have the old SNES one has that cool function that the old F-Zero game had and the old Final Fantasies had. It was this cool 3D map effect where the sprite would move over a map and the map moves under it. And it's such an iconic look. Like it just makes me think Final Fantasy F-Zero and the original Pilotwings because it's such a definitive feature of the game.
So it really gameplay wise, what I saw was pretty similar to Pilotwings 64.
Yep.
Pilotwings 64 is just a little more updated. They've got some extra bonus features in there. But reading about this game was actually kind of fun. It got a 9 out of 10 on Nintendo Life.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, 94% of Google users like this game. That also surprised me. I was like, hey, people that love it, love it. I
think it's one of those games. It's very much that childhood. I grew up with this, and it's just, I love it.
Yeah. It was published by Nintendo, obviously, for Nintendo 64. Yep. It was developed by Paradigm Simulation, because it's an amateur flight simulator game.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep.
It was launched in the US, Japan, and Europe.
Okay.
So, since it's a flight simulator, you get to fly a gyrocopter, a jetpack, you get to hang glide, and then there's bonuses that you can unlock where you can skydive, you can get shot out of a cannonball, which is super fun, and you have the jumble hopper, which is like really out of control moon boots that you wear that you get to jump around the map on. That's also a lot of fun. So the basic gameplay is you get different missions using the basic three, the gyrocopter, the hang glider, and the jetpack, and you got to complete those missions to unlock more. And you're scored usually on your accuracy, your time limit, how much fuel you used. Every mission will have different qualifiers, right? Not everyone's timed, but a lot of them are.
Okay.
Usually, For example, if you're hang gliding, you're going to have these light up rings that you fly through, just like the SNES version.
Yep.
And you got to do it in a time limit or whatever. But there are also, in this game, like, you get to take pictures of certain things. That's your mission. You got to get a good picture of this or that and find it on the map.
Okay.
So when they were making this game, this is what I find very interesting. They started off with a more physics-based approach, and then they scaled it down because they're like, it's too science. We need to make this a little more fun.
Yeah.
They actually worked pretty hard on this game. It took over 9 months to really develop it and create it. And let's see, I already said...
I would say it's the difference between people who love the Gran Turismo franchise and people who love the Need for Speed franchise. Because Gran Turismo is like very highly accurate, specific, like you can tune your cars to a T, to real life physics. And Need for Speed's like, you smash somebody into a wall and you pass them, you get boost.
Yeah, you get more nitro boost. That's right. Yeah, I think that's why I found reading that interesting, was because looking back on it, the controls and the way that you fly the different items, it really does change. And there's a certain feel to things, especially when you're doing things like landing. Yeah. Landing on your jetpack is a lot trickier than landing your hang glider, and it's really different versus landing the gyrocopter. So it is, you can definitely, reading that, you can definitely see that there was a lot of thought put into it, and real life simulation. Pretty cool.
Just makes me think that the Microsoft Flight Simulator came out, I think, this last year.
Oh, really?
And that's hyper-realistic flight.
Yeah.
And people really enjoyed it. People who love that realistic stuff really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's kind of a outlier. Like, it's not like a lot of other games out there. But like you said, I think if you're into that kind of thing, it's really enjoyable to you. And I think some people just aren't. And I think that's why this game was...
a good middle ground, almost. Like,
almost
people who don't want that hyper realistic can enjoy it, but still feel semi realistic enough where it still feels good to both parties.
Yeah, I would say that that's generally how most people felt. There was one or two haters out there.
There always is.
In '96, it was the 6th best selling game in the USA. It was.
Oh, it's the 6th. Wasn't Super Mario 64 was the first, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's partially because when they released the N64, like it was counted up as a 1-to-1 ratio. If you bought an N64 in '96, you also bought Super Mario. Oh. Like, everybody bought that game. 1 out of 4 people bought Pilotwings 64 that year.
Oh, okay.
They figured out.
That's pretty good.
It took 2 years to sell 1 million copies. But part of that, they think, is because not all suppliers had the game available to sell.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's hard to buy it if you don't have it.
Yeah.
And it was a lot... Back in the day, it wasn't like you could Google search it, you know, it was...
No, back in '96, it was like, you got to go to the store and just keep checking, and if they tell you, like, hey, we aren't getting that in, what are you going to do?
You got Nintendo Life, or you got a magazine that told you what was coming out.
Call up a Best Buy that's 2 hours away and see if they have it on your plugged-in telephone in the wall.
Right? Funny.
So it might not seem like it today, but back in '96, it was really applauded for its graphics and its texture.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty blocky. It's pretty simplified.
It's 64.
It's a 64. But I will say, thinking about it, the thing about this game that really always got me was the maps aren't huge, but they have a lot of detail in them in stuff. There's things. There's secrets to find.
Okay.
There's fun little areas here and there. And you'll be on an island and there's a carnival. And you can, like, fly down and see the different pieces of the carnival. Oh, there's a Ferris wheel. There's a big tent. There's a lot of little detail in it. And then the other thing is, in a flight simulator game like this, like, players are going to go wild and out and just try to fly in places they shouldn't fly.
Oh,
and try
absolutely.
to do... Right. There was never a lot of problems with getting into a space that you shouldn't be, or the game kind of... I don't even know how to describe it.
It had good collision detection.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. It had good hitboxes. So, like, if you were small enough to fit through, a tunnel, you could get through it as long as you flew good.
Yes.
Okay.
And it wasn't like you would get stuck in a wall or something like that.
Okay.
You know how some old school games you can accidentally like run into a corner and you are just in the nowhere zone and you're glitching out?
The infinity below the level.
Yeah. That didn't happen a lot in this game with me. And believe me, I push the limits because you can and it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The reviews on this game, like I said, a lot of people loved it. People liked the simple intro that it has. It gets you comfortable. You kind of learn like how the feel of these different vehicles feels as you're playing, but it progresses into more challenging missions, and that keeps you kind of hooked on wanting to do more, wanting to do better. At the end of a mission, you're either going to get a bronze star, a silver, or a gold. And to me, this game was so fun that I always wanted to try to go for the gold. If I got a bronze, I was like, I just gotta, I know I can do it. I can shave off that time. I can, it's exactly how I felt playing this game. So back again to not everybody loved it. And there's always a hater out there. I did find this a little funny. Game Revolution gave it a bad review saying it's brain dead gameplay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, brain dead. I just thought that was funny. I had to think about it for a minute, and I think for people who are so focused on the mission all the time and not really looking around and just enjoying what they're doing, it might feel like that.
Well, it's very much a game about kind of you explore the island, right? You're kind of
usually
just
the different missions are going to take you to different parts of the areas that you're in, right? And you're going to see different things. I think this is one of those games that's kind of more for people that like to screw around a little bit. Surprisingly. I mean, you do want to complete the missions, but like I said, there's little fun stuff to see and look at, and there are secrets in the levels. So if you're the kind of person that's like, I gotta follow the rules, I gotta, you're not gonna get everything out of it that you probably could. Mm-hmm. And it's not that it's super huge and complicated. It's a small game. Like I said, the maps aren't that big, but there's still something there to discover and do. So I just thought it was done really, really well, and that's why I liked it so much. I think this is just one of those games that it's only boring if you play it boring. Right? Maybe you shouldn't be so boring yourself.
Well,
and it
sometimes
will be more
a game
fun.
like this, it's how do I put it? It's like Grand Theft Auto. You play it, and if you just follow the mission structure and that's all you do, you might have some good missions, but it could get boring and repetitive. Because let's face it, a lot of Grand Theft Auto is driving around, listening to someone talk, going to an area, and then something happens, which is okay. That's fine. But you go and play online or whatever, and it's all about just, I'm going to do whatever wild crap I feel like.
Yeah, like that.
I'm going to land a plane on a rooftop and then skydive off with a bike that I carried up there with a helicopter, and then my bike has a jet rocket on it, and I'm going to fly through this bridge, and then I'm going to jump off and parachute onto this beach spot perfectly and take a drink of my pop.
That game's really well known for just going crazy.
Being wild.
Yeah.
And, on the PC, the mod, the amount of fun you can get out of it is directly related to how much you try to put into it. And if you're just going to do the bare minimum, you're going to get the bare minimum of fun. Right.
So in 97, it was ranked number 38 in Nintendo's 100 best games of all time.
Oh, okay.
In 2007, 10 years later, it was ranked 117th out of 200 games, which I still think is pretty good. There's obviously there's obviously a space in people's hearts for this.
Yeah.
And people wanted a sequel to it.
I think they did make a sequel, didn't they?
People wanted a GameCube sequel because GameCube was next, right? And then the Wii came out and people were like, hey, they kind of showed off something. And then they didn't do it. Nintendo didn't want to put the funds into it and the resources at the time. I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, because didn't they just kind of... I remember them not
everybody
doing
pretty
much
bad.
with it.
Yeah. So finally, they did Pilotwings Resort for the 3DS, just to kind of get everybody to shut up, I guess. I've never played that. I should have looked that up too, but I don't know. It's like I said, this is just a game that I really, really thoroughly enjoyed that I was pretty sure you had never played. And I think it'll be interesting to get your take on it because it is kind of in its own column here of gameplay and game style.
Yeah,
and I guess I don't see you play a lot of games like that necessarily.
Not generally, because I think a lot of times I like to... I don't want to say always. I think a lot of times it's nice to have goals. Talking about... even Vampire Survivors,
Yeah.
right? Where there was always like, this is how you get the next unlock. You got a little micro goal.
It's got that hook feed.
Yeah, so games like that, sometimes where I can have freedom to just do whatever sometimes, even though there are missions, I do appreciate just like getting to enjoy that feeling, but it usually doesn't hook me long term. So I'm interested to actually get into this game and look at it from more than just like how much fun I'm having, like how it feels, how it looks, and how it's aged. Because it just came on the 64 emulator for the Switch, right?
Yes, and I was waiting for that so that you could actually play it.
All right, yeah, no, so it'll be exciting to just kind of
check it out,
chew into it a little bit. Yeah.
The only part of it that I would say is kind of a good hook is once you complete all the missions for the main 3 vehicles, that's when you get those bonus ones of being shot out of a cannonball, and there's different missions there, or the jumble hopper shoes.
Yeah.
Or the skydiving, which is really fun because as you're skydiving, you have to make different formations with your crew as you fall down, and then you have to land and not kill yourself, and that's tricky. It's really hard landing when you skydive.
I think they had the skydiving minigame in, what was it, Wii Sports Resort? You could do
so.
it, yeah. And I love Joe doing it, and he's like, go through the circle of people. No, and then it's like, no, you gotta hold their hand, you gotta collect them.
Hold hands.
Yep. You know, it's funny, when I think of Pilotwings, I think of this arcade game I remember I used to play. It was at a local arcade we had. They had it for quite a while. And it was this hang gliding one, but it was, you sat on like a bike almost. Okay. And it had pedals. And in the game, you had a propeller. So if you would pedal faster, you could kind of boost yourself. And it actually, like the whole setup tilted when you did it, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I don't think it was called Pilotwings, but in my head I always associated that with that because I don't know why that imagery stuck with me.
Well, that's kind of funny that you say that because I know when they were developing it, they, like I said, they scaled it down to make it a little more fun because they wanted to have a little bit more of an arcade type feel. Okay. They specifically did say that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what hooked me was the hang gliding right away. When I was younger, that I really wanted to do that someday.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a super huge fan of heights, but I think if, like, I'm definitely not jumping out of a plane. I will not do that, but I could probably hang glide.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do that bad enough, and I want to see that. That's like a different level of up in the air. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm not so high that it's just, well, I'm going to watch the land before I die. Like, hang gliding, yeah, you could kill yourself. You could get hurt really bad. But, like, the beauty of being that close and actually being able to see the world around you is a little more appealing to me than being thousands of miles up in the air.
Yeah.
That sounds so scary.
Well, I mean, there's that difference. Like, skydiving, you got to do it from so high up. Hang gliding, you can do it from a
cliff edge.
Yeah, a cliff, a mountain, and you get, like, a slow ride.
You're still close to the earth. You know what I mean? I like that. That sounds fun.
So, yeah, I'm definitely interested to try this out, kind of dig into it.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun just for a quick little new thing.
And it is kind of nice. I did appreciate the Tom Sawyer bonus episode because it was like, hey, okay, let's just try this game and really dig into it. That's something that I probably wouldn't normally do.
Yeah.
And I kind of appreciate it's what I make you do all the time, so I get a little taste of it myself in a completely different way. Almost.
Yep, usually old school and usually...
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to dig into older games and replay them and see how they hold up and how you feel about
Every
it
so
now.
often I stumble across some old game I never heard of, and it's like, it was really good and people really loved it. How did I never know about it?
Yep.
You know? And it's always fun to find things like that.
All right, so you better go try it out.
All right, I'll go dig into it. Anything else? We good?
That's it. We'll reconvene.
All right, I'm out. Gone. I'm already out of my chair. Let's go.
Bye. And we're back.
Well, hello.
You've had some time to play.
Yeah, I had a little bit of time to play.
A little bit is the key word there.
Yeah.
I didn't see you dive in too hard.
I dove in seriously probably if I'm going to be honest.
One time when you weren't there.
Well, yeah, I did play it once when you weren't there. I was home with our son and I was playing it because he wanted, I can't remember what he was playing on the Xbox. He was into something. I'm like, okay, let's dig into it again.
I had no other choices.
No, I just know I need to, if I'm going to make you play all these games, I need to do my part too. But I think I talked about it in the first half where sometimes those progression hooks is what really hooks me and keeps me coming back to a game. And this one didn't quite have that as hardcore. Like you said, It's very open. You have to dig in. You have to look. It's very much about what you put into it.
Yeah.
And I definitely enjoy it for what it is, but I can't say that it really has me as hooked as it hooked you.
And that makes sense because I mentioned before, I don't see you play this type of game, really.
Yeah, how do I put it? I have enjoyed different types of flight games or even a few like aerial combat games. But
well, aerial combat is combat, right?
Yeah. I think this is definitely a game to be in the mood for, because when I first started it up, I was enjoying it. There's that sense of freedom that you get with a flying game, especially when you can kind of fly wherever you want to. Mm-hmm. And that is so enjoyable that you just want to fly around and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But when you start this game, how it's set up, there's essentially 4 levels for the 3 main vehicles, the hang glider, the
Gyrocopter,
and the jetpack, right? But then you do have what's called a holiday mode, and you have a bird suit that you can just fly around and check things out. And I really enjoy that. So I wish that you could easily unlock holiday mode for the other vehicles so you could just enjoy it instead of always feeling like, okay, I have this goal I have to do. Sometimes you have a time limit and you have to get it done in that time, right? And I'm sure you do eventually unlock them, but I got silver on or better on the first 3 ranks on every vehicle, and I didn't unlock any new holiday stuff.
So the way to unlock the holiday stuff is on every single map, there is a hidden star, and you have to just fly through the star.
Ah, okay.
And
so using Birdman to find that would probably be the easiest way to do it, right?
Well, that's how you unlock the Birdman maps. You have to find the star in the game on the different maps. Oh,
really?
So if you want to fly around in the Little States area, you have to, while you're on a mission in Little States, find that star and fly through it.
Which, I mean, isn't so bad if you're like, okay, I'm not doing the mission, I'm looking for this star. That's okay, because I can always just redo the mission to get points. Yeah. But I suppose that's not so bad. Like you said, you got to like, okay, I'm just going to not do this time. And
to me, I think of it like it helps promote exploration and not just being so focused on doing the same thing over and over again.
I think the problem is, and I don't know, maybe the instruction booklet told you that this would do that.
I didn't have an instruction booklet when I got this game.
Oh,
actually.
Really?
This game, my mom actually bought it secondhand when a video rental store was going out of business.
Oh, okay.
And surprised us and came home with it, which was very rare because she wasn't a huge fan of us playing video games. And she really was picky about what she wanted us to play.
Yeah.
And she saw Pilotwings 64 and how you just pretend to be a pilot. And she's like, this should be fine. So, and I think it was like $3. Like, it was super cheap.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And so that's how I got it. So I literally just had the cartridge, no box, no instruction booklets. It literally was me just messing around on this so much that I found a star on a map, flew through it, and I figured out what happens. And then you're
so
like,
if
okay,
you find
there's
one,
be more.
Okay. And I really see how that can happen naturally, you know, if you try. I think the hard part is like I was always so focused on like, okay, I'm trying to get the best score because I want to get the silver medal or the gold medal. I got bronze on everything, and or bronze or silver on most of them, and I didn't unlock anything doing that. So then I worked hard to get silver on everything, and once you got silver on like all the A rank and B rank, Then that's how you unlock the cannonball mini game and the skydiving mini game. Both I actually really enjoyed. They were fun. I really liked the cannonball one. That was kind of fun because it really can like. In that one, you have like there's numbers you can go by, like you can look, you can get a feel for it. You got a chance to kind of get a feel for it.
Unless there's a wind gust that blows.
Well, even that, you can see that on the mini map. Like that, like I can fine tune that to what I need, and I really appreciate that. I will say this though, the controls still feel good considering it is a single stick control scheme.
Yeah.
The jetpack is pretty simple. You have like a high speed boost, low speed boost, and then you have like a hover. So when it comes to landing in your target zone, super easy. You just like, I'm going to fly over, hover, and you stop instantly. And then you just like lightly hit the low boost until you land perfect, 100 points or whatever. The Gyrocopter, I also was pretty good at. And I think part of that is practice with the original Pilotwings as well. You kind of learn to get a feel for how you come in to land a plane. Like I played other flight simulators. Yeah. And for that, like, it's like, okay, it's coming. Sometimes, you're going a little too fast, but luckily there's usually a long enough runway. As long as you get on that runway without like dang near crashing into the the landing strip, you're going to be fine. You're going to do okay. Keep it in the center. The hang glider, though, in the air, amazing. Felt so good. Like there's a weight to it. When you get into an updraft, like all these things, flying it in the air felt good. Landing it is a freaking son of a bitch.
So I gotta say, like, because I watched you play and try to land with the hang glider, and I think you're so used to having clear-cut measurements to go by, and the fact that one specifically you have to go so much by feel, because it depends on the area, it depends on how high you're coming in or how low. It really seemed to mess with you, and you like got just slightly frustrated with it.
That was really the only part I got frustrated with.
I don't usually see you get frustrated at any video game. Like you will sit there and play Dark Souls and you're cool and calm.
Yeah, I might get a little frustrated, but I usually
this hang glider, you're like, rah!
Yeah, because I always I play Dark Souls. I'm like, okay, this is what I can do to help myself. Or if I'm like, okay, it's just too tough right now, come back and get a little better equipment or get some practice. And I don't know if it's just because of, how it looked. It's hard to gauge distance in this game. But when you land a hang glider, you have to press the B button and then you hang your legs down and then the hang glider slows down a lot and it will start dropping. So you can't be too high because then you'll just drop down, break your legs. But you also can't, like, if you're going down to get low enough, you also have to be careful because usually you're going to speed up. And then you'll just rocket past it. And as much as I tried to get the feel for it, I either stopped too soon or I stopped too late. And it felt like I was pressing the B button at the same time. And that's why I was getting frustrated. Like I'm trying to okay, a little bit sooner. And then I go past it this time. Why? I wasn't going that much. Yeah, I do know, I do know that there's physics in play. But the problem is it just it didn't feel right to me. Like if you're going to make this an arcade game, and I understand it's also arcadey simulator, there's some realism there. That's fine. I need something to help me gauge my distance then. Like something that it just needed a little something because I only successfully got really good landings on the hang glider a couple times, and I would try over and over and over again. And this is the frustrating part about how it grades you on the system. So whenever you pick a level, you usually have 2 or 3 missions that you have to do at different places. And so for the hang glider, it might be, hey, take a picture of the Loch Ness Monster and this cruise ship and this rocket ship that's blasting off like a NASA rocket ship, right? And then you have to land in the landing pad, and the landing pad you gotta you get a score by how close to the center you get and how smooth the landing is, because if you start landing rough, it you lose points. I would get a dang near perfect score taking pictures, and then I'd mess up the landing and get almost no points for the landing. And that's where I needed those points to get my upgrade to the next tier medal. And so I have to do the whole mission again just to fail my landing over and over and over again.
So
and that's why I got frustrated. No, in Dark Souls, no. Here's the difference. Yeah, I get what you're saying. To an extent. Here's the problem. In Dark Souls, I can go and grind. I can go somewhere else. The only way I can unlock anything else in this game is if I do this stupid landing right, and I can't. And I get where that frustration comes. I think in Dark Souls, I have come to areas where I can wipe out a whole area and there's an enemy at the end that's really flippin' tough and hard for me to get past. But every time I do it, I get better at fighting that enemy. Now, can I get to a point where, I can kill him every time and then, that one time he gets me? Yeah. But most of the time I'll succeed eventually, right? I'm going to get to that point. In this one, I didn't feel like I was improving the landing at all, even though I was really trying. And like, I'm not a slouch at video games. No. There's a lot of games, like I do things by feel. Like you'll ask me, how do you do something? It's like, it's when this happened. Like, I don't know. Like, it's hard to explain. Yeah. And the fact that I couldn't get it kind of made me a little nuts. It's like, I should be able to get this. Now and I just was having trouble
when I play certain video games.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny to me because I think I have gold on almost everything on the original one. I think there's only one, and I couldn't tell you if it was for the Gyrocopter or the hang glider, one that was at silver. I mean, I really went balls.
Oh, it was a hang glider.
No, I think I did have to get all gold because I had all of the.
Yeah, I think you did have old gold. Because I saw your Pilotwings save file.
I'm a little bummed that you didn't get to do the jumble hopper.
Yeah.
That one is also like, and I think that's the last one you get, and it's pretty hard to get there.
Yep.
But it's really, really fun.
I couldn't get silver on the last hang glider mission, and I really beat my head against it
too, and I just never got a chance because every time I do have time to play games, I was playing another thing for you.
I think to me, and this is I'm an adult now, I have adult money, right? I have also adult time, so that means I might have more money, I have less time, so I can get there's just such a huge variety of things to play. There's always stuff I'm willing to play. I have a backlog that's way too big, right? And I'm playing this game and I'm thinking about like, Rose really beat her head against this wall. And like, she was getting so frustrated with Dark Souls. Like I did make that connection while I was playing.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I get it. And I get why it can be a turnoff. And like, I don't think I'm never going to come back to Pilotwings. I think I will go back and give it another shot just to kind of like after I've cooled off, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it's one of 5 games I have. Like when we were a kid growing up, right? You had what, 10 games? Okay, well, what's my favorite of these 10 games? I beat Majora's Mask. I beat Ocarina of Time. I don't feel like playing that again right now. What am I going to put my time into now?
Yeah.
So as a kid, you have the time to like really put into it and get the most out of it, you know, being younger. And as an adult, it's like, okay, I have money that I can use to get even better things or things I'm more interested in than this at this moment. I don't have to beat my head against this wall endlessly, right? And I think that's the difference being an adult to when we were younger. If you were an adult and you first played this game and you were having this much trouble with that landing, do you think you would have stuck with it?
I'm not sure. Because, like, I have the experience with that game, and I know that I like it. I can't imagine trying it and not knowing what I already know. That's kind of hard to picture.
It really makes me think about trying that Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's on Xbox Game Pass. Just to see how that feels, because I've heard lots of good things about it. Like I said, the flying in this game feels great. And even the missions are kind of fun. It really pushes you hard, especially like I will say the hang glider has the biggest difficulty jump. The other ones kind of have a slower build, but it pushes you to try things a little bit different than you might do on your own. But the flying feels good, and that is the most important part of this game, the flying.
Did you find it relaxing at all on any of the...
Yeah, just flying around, like especially those first few levels, playing, you know, with the hang glider and the gyrocopter especially. that was just enjoyable. You're just flying around. It's also fun with the Gyrocopter. You have a mission where you have to like shoot down this big robot called the Mecha Hot, and he's just a big sissy. You hit him and he runs away or swims away like a little bitch.
I love it because you have 2 different missions.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. One's like he spends most of the time swimming, and another one he's like running around the field in Little America, which is also cool. Yeah, like the islands are all cool. They're all different. It's fun to see all the different ones.
I really like the maps in this game. And the variety between them all.
And like we were talking about in the first half, the collision detection is amazing. Like I was flying around, just screwing around early on, and I was able to squeeze my, I think it was the Birdman I was playing on holiday, and I flew through a tunnel in a building. Yep. Like I was small enough to fit through. I could fly through it. And like I flew through the Ferris wheel spokes. And it's like, if you can feasibly fly through a hole in your vehicle, you can do it. And that's impressive in of itself.
That's what makes it so fun to just fly around and look at everything, because it's not blocky enough where you're going to just die all the time or get knocked over all the time. No. You can literally get right down in there and explore. And that's one thing that I just absolutely loved about it. Because at that point in my life, to me, it felt really different than most games.
Oh, yeah. Like this is, especially at that time, like the simulator type games were like only on computer. Like Flight Simulator's been around a long time. Yeah. And they, but like on the console, it wasn't common at all. And to have something like this that's so close, but also like anybody can pick it up and try it. Mm-hmm. Not, I would call this game like 85% fun, a little bit of frustration. But if you have somebody who has it all unlocked and you can just experience anything you want, then that's, I think, a really cool thing you could do. You can try it out and enjoy it. I did have fun with it. I would personally, I don't know, I think personally I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10, but I think for the actual feel of the flying, I'd give that a 7.5, 8, because that flying, it feels so good. And I really had a lot of fun with that. A lot. Though the Birdman is a little you're just jamming on that button. Hey, but flap, you son of a gun. Oh, don't lose altitude.
And updraft, quick.
It's like playing one of like the early Mario Party 1 or 2 mini games, except you like can't stop or you're crashing.
Oh, funny.
Oh, my goodness.
It's do you have a favorite character that you like to play?
I generally I can't remember her name. I played as this one.
Idris, right?
Idris, yep. I played as her because most of her vehicles were green, and that's my favorite color. So I was like, I gotta rock the green. I don't care. Like
all the characters in the game are named after birds.
Yeah, yep.
Like Hawk, Robin,
yep.
Idris.
Which is a fun little thing that they added in. Like they're all flying. I think there's a lot of fun little nods. Like even like we said, the little states, it's shaped like the United States. Yep. Like it's just kind of a cool map.
Different landmarks in there. Mount Rushmore with Mario's head in there.
Yep. They got rid of George Washington and put Mario on there.
There's the Empire State Building. Mm-hmm. There's all these different things, and even the other islands. You have Everfrost Island, Crescent Island, and Holiday Island.
Yeah, I think what is it? Is it Crescent Island that has the dam with the Loch Ness Monster?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's got, you got Nessie in there, and then there's a spaceship that takes off when you're flying too close to it. Like, there's a lot of cool things to see, considering that it is a 64 game. So they really I feel like they made the most of what was available to them to be able to put into it.
Yeah.
It's
kind of this nice balance of not making it huge, but putting a lot into what is there.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's just more multi-layered than a really simple map. I mean, compared to the original version on the Super Nintendo, it expanded a ton.
Yeah.
They really put a lot more into it by the time they got to Pilotwings 64. And I thought it was a really good successor to that game.
I agree. Like it is fun. I definitely can see how this game would not be for everybody.
Sure.
But to just have that freedom of flying, and it still feels so good this many years later. Like it's, I personally am like, I wish I had a second stick, because you get used to like games nowadays. They'll, you have more control over your flight, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I miss that, but considering how well they did with just the one stick and a couple buttons, you need, like that's about all you need most of the time, right?
Yeah.
It still feels good. I'm impressed. Like it's honestly held up. If you got a Switch and you got the
Nintendo 64.
I think the online expansion plus, because that's how you get the 64 games. Definitely give it a shot. Like I can understand how it could get frustrating. Just give it a little bit of a run through. It's worth it.
Plus,
for sure.
There's lots of other good classic games like Yoshi's Story, Super Mario 64.
Yep.
I'm really hoping and praying they add Donkey Kong 64 soon, 'cause that would just make my day.
Yeah, that's another one of
podcast
your
will
favorite.
end. I'm busy for a month.
Oh yeah. Well, no, you need 2 months for that game. It's huge.
Yeah, maybe. So, okay, I'm glad you enjoyed it a little bit, and it seems like you can understand where I'm coming from when, like, this has such a special spot in my heart, because it is really different, and I don't play a lot of games like this either, really.
No, you don't. Like,
I
try to think about anything else. I don't think you'd be into most other things in the similar vein.
It'd be interesting to try. I guess I haven't had that much opportunity.
Yeah.
Because like I said, this wasn't something that I asked for or anything. It was literally just my mom was feeling nice that day. I don't know why.
Hooray for the random roll of the dice.
Yeah. And like I said, it was super cheap. So
yeah, that helped, I'm sure.
yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, man. Is there anything else you wanted to ask me? Do, 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 do.
I don't think so. I think, like, to see what you thought about the characters, the islands. What'd you think of the music?
Very relaxing. Like, it just got a chill vibe to it, which is funny because sometimes it feels like it's making you do intense things, and then the music's pretty chill. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it fit the mood. I will say that.
It's funny because when I was researching this game, there was an article where an author had totally ripped apart the music and said that it sounded like a jazz porn music number. And when you started playing, because, I mean, it's been a long time since I played it. And I'm like, what is he talking about? I remember it being super relaxing. You started playing it, and I'm like, yeah, this is fine. There was a certain level when you were on the Gyrocopter in the Everfrost Islands. I was like, oh, this is the one. This is the song that I was talking about. But it's still, like, pretty lighthearted and pumps you up.
Yep.
That guy probably just was a pervert. Like,
yeah, right. If you jump to that quick.
Yeah, I was like, come on. We're just trying to fly in the sky. Settle down.
My goodness.
The only other thing is, since I've talked about it before, being a young teenager and listening to certain things while playing certain games, this game always makes me think of Queen's album A Night at the Opera. I was listening to that whole album on repeat hardcore while I played this game, which was a very good album to fly in the sky to, by the way, and to like go skydiving and everything.
That'd be a really interesting thought to find out like what musical albums go with games you grew up playing, because I'm gonna be honest, like I wasn't a big music guy until I met you, really.
Yeah,
like
I think you had like 4 CDs.
Yeah, not
like,
much.
Oh, you poor boy.
Well, like, I'm very much about like if I'm playing a game or I'm watching a show or whatever, like I want to listen to what's going on in this movie or in this game, like because somebody designed this sound for this game, right?
Force myself to listen to it.
As we've grown up, like we played a bunch of zombies, and then we'll be listening to music while we're playing zombies. We're playing like Linkin Park or whatever rock or song at the time we're really into, and it's kind of fun to think about that,
Yeah, and when you say zombies, you're referring to Call of Duty zombies.
Yeah, Call of Duty zombies. Yeah. Yes.
We were just, shooting.
When we were just killing people in zombie makeup, no big deal.
Shooting zombies in the face when we're listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, Californication.
Just those chill vibes while you're just
in the most intense situation of your life. Oh my goodness.
Them in the Black Keys. Super
All
hard.
right. Well, I think we'll head on out to the outro here. You want to say thank you to Brother Ray. That's what you want to say for our caricatures.
Cut that.
Nope, it's too late. I made her freeze because she's not usually doing this.
I don't do this part. So, thank you to Brother Ray for our awesome caricatures. We love them. We appreciate them so much. Thank you to everybody who listened to this episode. I hope that you like these bonus episodes, and we'll keep them coming, hopefully. But we wanted to do an episode every week for the month of December to celebrate holidays for everybody.
Yeah, dude, I thought it would just be kind of
That's
fun.
our gift to the world.
Yeah, you're welcome, world. I hope it's good. I hope it's good.
This is all I got.
I didn't ask anybody what you wanted. That's what I got you.
Thank you for the music.
Oh,
our
thank you.
awesome intro and outro song. And thank you for playing my game.
Oh, anytime. I actually get a lot of enjoyment out of this. And also, like, sometimes I have a bad habit of being pulled between so many different things I want to do and games I want to play. And then I kind of freeze sometimes. I end up not doing anything because, like, I can't decide which one I want to do more. And when we do something like this, you ask me, hey, I need you to play this. It's like, okay, if I have nothing that, like, I desperately have to do right now, I can do this. And it kind of helps give me a little focus sometimes. And it's fun to come at it from a different point of view than I normally do.
I was just glad I could throw you this curveball.
Yeah, this is something different.
I want to wish everybody out there a happy holiday season too. I hope everybody gets some time off of work, gets some time with their friends or family and loved ones. I'm Rose.
And I'm Matt.
And this has been Co-ople Mode. Keep on gaming with your bestie.
Woo! Good job. You got it, baby. Ta-ta!